The GMODIST, more GMODISM.
Well, hello. This is your host Eric of GMODISM here. We are at the GMODIST channel. This is the extra channel, of course. And I've been working on this little interesting project for Lieutenant and/or, who is of course a commissioned officer in the army of GMODISM. And I'm building a little build for it that is part of the lieutenant role, but he had his request of making a Gatling APS cannon or like a rotary autocannon, more like that. Because it's not going to be that fast. It's more like a Gatling or like a rotary howitzer. But anyways, we have that. And it's not an easy thing to do. So I have been thinking on a lot of ways on how to do this. Yeah, I think I spent too much time on this, but so the build has been progressing a little bit slow. But I thought it was really fun to make a try to make like a Gatling gun, so to say. When this ship is done, we're gonna have a check of it on the main channel, of course. I think we can check this version here. This is like the wrong direction, but this is like the first iteration where I kind of understood how to arrange it, so to speak. So you can see these barrels here. I had to make the barrels differently long because of course I need the firing pieces to be somewhat misaligned. If I don't do that, we'll have like a maximum of 2 ammo intakes per firing piece, and that's like a 50% decrease of firing power totally than if we had 3. So I made a system where we can have 3, and they are on a 2-axis turret. Now I built this system the wrong way around, and it's absolute like shite compared to what I came up with next, which is having a 1-axis turret, all-in-one local weapon controller. You can see. Then we have a not a 2-axis turret, a elevation turret, and then I never use these. But we have the light block so that we can extend the connection point here to this spin block. So this poor construction is only held together by light blocks. Oh my. This is not gonna be hard to kill. But whatever, we are really cramped for space here. If we wouldn't have a light blocks, we'd need to have a block here, here, there, and there, basically. So yeah, and that changes the form factor. But I managed to make a system where they have the same caliber, so they ended up with a gauge of 348 millimeters, which is like howitzer level for sure. DIF guns, we generally want them to be pretty large because of course they deal more damage then. And I realized the system is starting to look pretty like large. Yeah. So in this particular iteration, I didn't quite make it work yet, but I can show you the earlier code here, which is basically the entire code. But man, this is like some advanced shit. We're gonna go through the code that actually works. But I have some shortcuts here to kind of make it rotate like this. You can see we can make it rotate on command. It's just for the setting up stages. But anyways, I want to show you like the proper version. It's the latest version that actually works and it's decorated. I'm pretty happy with this design. I think this is one of my better looking cannons. I've started to I became one of the mimic mafia, I feel like. This, I'm not sure that's a good thing. It takes time to decorate. But anyways, let me just showcase this shooting first, so you can just appreciate how cool it is. Isn't that pretty cool? So we got 4 shots like that, and we don't have any magazines here. This is just pure DIF-gun. We don't have any coolers or anything. So then they load up for the next round. It's like 20 seconds between each of them. And you can just hold fire too, and it will just shoot. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with this, as you can imagine. Or I don't know, maybe you think this is like mediocre. If you think this is mediocre, dislike the video. If you think it's cool, like it. It's a good deal, right? Yeah, well, in any case, we have like, on different places, we have like moving parts. So you can see this is like the pinnacle. We have the backside here. They are of course not rotating, it's only this thing around here, so it's like a cylinder type spinning on here. Well, anyways, we're gonna check out the code here, or we can begin with checking out the ammo we have for this. 20 modules, of course. I added altitude fuse, penetration depth fuse, and inertial fuse. We just have all the fuses. Then we have an armor piercing, high explosive, EMP frag incendiary. It's a terrible party mix. I know. It's abhorrent. Maybe I'll set up different shells per barrel. That could be fun. So we can like commit to 1 shot per barrel at least. Could be useful. So, anyways, how did we make this thing work is the funny question here. Well, each of these firing pieces are named, and the named firing pieces thus, well, can be controlled using our non-AI breadboard. So, we have the up command here to still connect it up in case we need to adjust it if it gets off sync. It never happened yet, but potentially it could get off sync, so it's not the top barrel that's shooting, but another barrel. Or maybe we even would like to change that somehow, which barrel is shooting, we can do that. Anyways, the guns can be shot like normal. They are not activated by breadboard or anything, so it's just AI or yourself that's shooting the APS cannons. And essentially, this system blocks the other cannons from shooting. If you see here, you can see not enough gauge increasers can't fire. So that's the trick. I tested a lot of different tricks to make it work, but this trick ended up working the best. And that is forcing the gauge here. But let's get back to how it works. When the APS fires, this little event gets triggered and we have like some data point, and that data point isn't a solid 1, it is like a decimal, so we have a seal which is basically makes the signal a 1 with no decimals. This one gets fed into this delay, so when it had fired it will go 2 seconds. After those 2 seconds it will activate this accumulator, so it can count from 0, 1, 2 and 3. That's 4 things. So that is multiplied by 90, which basically is directly fed into the spin block. So if it's 0, it's 0 degrees. 0 times 90 is 0. Times 1, 90. Times 2, 180. 270, you know. And then it basically spins around to all of these 4 positions after each fire. So when it has fired, 2 seconds and it will switch. Simultaneously, when it basically rotates, a new delay is activated. That's 1.5 seconds. Those 1.5 seconds will go down here to this little thing. Now this looks really weird, but this is basically controlling the gauge for the firing pieces, basically. So it has the desired gauge. It changes the desired gauge from 350 millimeters plus this tiny little fraction. And we have to have this little tiny fraction when it has activated to basically update the data for the gauge, because if it doesn't update the data for the gauge, it kind of forgets what gauge we had we set them to force it on. Because if we don't have this that locks it doesn't work. And this system, of course, the accumulator 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, they are also connected up to a system here which compares the value to 0, 1, 2 or 3 and negates that, so that every one of these, like all the values that are not true, will basically force the desired gauge. This setting, always use the desired gauge, won't clear clips and won't fire if there is not enough gauge increasers available. So basically, because we made a gauge just a little bit larger than it actually can be, this forces it to not be able to fire. It locks the firing for these firing pieces. But of course, the one that is like the one that's activated, so to speak, doesn't get its gauge forced. So this desired gauge value will not affect that firing piece, and only then that firing piece will be allowed to fire. I don't know if this like explanation made any sense, but well, maybe it did. You know what? I think we should do like this. I think we should spawn a marauder. And I think we're gonna do like this. We're gonna just refill this thing. And we're gonna set it in slow motion speed. Now you can see it fired. That's gonna miss. Alright. And now we can see it spins around here, right? 1 second. Bam. And now this fires. We're gonna see if this actually deals any damage. I don't know if it will hit. Yeah, okay, we're starting to get close here. Well, obviously it's not the most accurate gun, and that has to do with our detection not being, well, great either. Oh, and the recoil is of course horrible, despite us using the muzzle brakes. Anyways, I think most of you may be interested more in the breadboard here. But if you see the action here, when it fires, let's see if we can have time to see the action there. You can see a little fraction of a number activates this, go down here. Now it's 90 degree. And when it fires next time, I don't know when, we'll see these values do something fun. Where it kind of switches. Stuff is doing on. Oh, isn't that pretty cool? I think, well, I think so, but, well. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And this, like, has a couple of shots to fire, basically, because I have 3 inputs per firing piece, and one of them has 4. So 3 times 4, 12. Is that right? Is that right? 3. Yeah, that's 12. Plus another one, 13. Wow. Okay, so we have an unlucky number of shots then. So it can essentially fire 13 shots. Then the load time is gonna be really slow. Yeah. The accuracy and stuff like that can probably be improved, but we'll deal with that when we have some proper detection as well. Yeah. I don't think we have much more to say. Well, anyways, we'll have no complex outro. We'll just say big thanks for watching, and I'll put the commission officers on screen here. Big thanks to all of them, and this project I'm building is for Lieutenant Anto, and it's been really slow because, yeah, I had to learn some bread. I had to sit and, you know, really sit down and think about this for a while, because I'm a little bit new to breadboard still, so yeah. Tutorials about bread is of course coming out when I have learned it enough to be confident in tutorials about it. Yeah, well, that's all. See you.